Hello and welcome to Gap Stories. We focus on hidden and lost stories and try to fill in the gaps. Although these stories can't be considered accurate history, they are geared towards being as accurate to history as possible. Our goal isn't to rewrite history, but to portray history in a realistic way. Even documentaries have to embellish in order to push the story along. If you don't agree with the historical aspect, that's fine. This is mainly for entertainment purposes. But make no mistake, our goal is to stay as close to history as possible. Hit the like button and thanks for watching.
Hor-aha coughs, a rattling sound that echoes in the vast chamber. He wipes his mouth with a shaky hand.
Respect. Perhaps. But whispers can turn to roars if left unchecked. I need to show them I am still their king. I will show them who got the sauce.
How? You are in no condition to...
There is a ritual, an ancient test of strength. A pharaoh must wrestle a live crocodile to prove his worth. I got this. My swag ain't left. I am still me.
A crocodile, sire? That's madness. You could be seriously injured, even killed.
Then let them see me face death with the same courage I faced my enemies. It is time to silence the vipers, Benarib. I would rather face death than my people doubting me. Let the games begin.
He stands tall, a flicker of his former fire rekindled in his eyes. Benarib hesitates, then nods grimly. Nile riverbank, day. A large crowd gathers along the Nile's bank, a mixture of curiosity and trepidation etched on their faces. Jer, 20s, face grim, stands at the forefront, his gaze fixed on a wooden platform built over the water's edge. Hor-aha, clad in ceremonial garb, steps onto the platform, his movements slow but determined. A large crocodile, its scales glinting in the sun, thrashes within a fenced enclosure.
Pharaoh Hor-aha, are you prepared to face the test of Sebek?
I am. Let this silence all the doubters and haters.
The cage is raised. The crocodile lunges, a prehistoric maw agape. Hor-aha stumbles back, his staff clattering to the ground. A gasp ripples through the crowd.
Father, no. You don't have to do this.
But Hor-aha stands his ground. He avoids the crocodile's initial snap, the beast's jaws snapping shut with a bone-jarring crunch. A tense dance ensues, Hor-aha using his experience to dodge the snapping jaws while the crowd holds its breath. Suddenly, Hor-aha sees an opening. He lunges forward, grappling with the crocodile's rough hide. With a cry that echoes across the Nile, he manages to twist the creature's body, forcing it back into the water. The cage is lowered with a splash. The crowd erupts in cheers, relief and awe warring on their faces. Hor-aha stands panting, his body shaking, but a triumphant smile spreads across his face. Jer rushes towards him, his eyes filled with a mixture of anger and relief.
You shouldn't have done that. You could have died.
And so could Kemet's fate in its king.
Jer looks at the cheering crowd, then back at his father. A grudging respect flickers in his eyes. Benarib steps forward, a satisfied smirk playing on her lips. Hor-aha leans on her arm, his victory short-lived as a wave of dizziness washes over him.
We are glad you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button for us ladies. Please.
Suddenly, the water ripples. A massive hippo rises, its eyes like obsidian pools.
Father, no.
The crowd gasps. Hor-aha grapples with the hippo. His breath grows desperate.
The Nile's bite, cold, relentless. My legacy hangs in the balance.
DJR dives in, knife drawn. He wrestles the hippo, blood mixing with the murky water.
You won't take him.
They struggle. Dier's blade finds its mark. The hippo thrashes, then sinks. Dier pulls Hor-aha to the surface.
My son. Kemet. Please take care of the people. My time is done. It is now in your hands. I love.
In a shocking turn of events, Hor-aha, also called Menes, dies on the shoreline of the Nile River due to a hippopotamus bite. With so much focus on the alligator, he lost focus on the hippos. Hor-aha is probably the most significant yet unknown pharaohs of all of ancient Kemet. His wives weeps, their eyes once fierce now hold sorrow.
No, not my king, not like this.
I'm sorry, Mother. There is nothing we can do for his wounds.
Your father's blood stains the Nile. Our dynasty trembles. You must lead.
The weight of Kemet rests on my shoulders. I won't let Kemet down. I'm ready.
Throne room, day. Jer, now crowned, sits on the throne. The nobles watch, assessing their new pharaoh.
My father's death reminds us, Kemet thrives when united. We honor Hor-aha's legacy. I'll forge alliances, build monuments, and protect our borders.
Pyramid construction site. Jer oversees laborers hauling massive stones. The sun blazes. Queen Kenthap, healer and wise woman, tends to the sick. Her hands, once adorned, now bear scars.
Kemet's strength lies in compassion. She binds wounds, her touch gentle.
Library day. Jer studies scrolls, maps, and star charts.
Knowledge shapes destiny. Our scholars will illuminate Kemet's path.
Nile bank. Sunset. Jer stands where Hor-aha fell. The water whispers secrets.
Father, I'll honor your sacrifice. Kemet will thrive.
NT. Palace, throne room. Jer, now pharaoh, sits on the throne. The room is hushed, heavy with sorrow. The nobles watch, their eyes reflecting both reverence and uncertainty.
Kemet mourns. Our mighty Hor-aha, the unifier, has journeyed beyond the veil. His spirit rides the Nile's currents.
The court bows their heads. Queen Benarib's chamber. Queen Benarib, once fierce, now fragile, arranges lotus blossoms. Her hands tremble.
My love, your boat awaits. May Osiris guide you to the fields of reeds.
Queen Kenthap's chamber. Queen Kenthap, healer and sage, weaves funeral shrouds. Her eyes, usually steady, betray grief.
May Anubis weigh his heart justly. May he find eternal peace.
She ties a linen band around a figurine. Ext, funeral procession, day. The streets of Thebes overflow with mourners. Farmers, priests, and artisans stand shoulder to shoulder. The air smells of incense and lilies. Jer, clad in white linen, leads the procession. His voice carries.
Hor-aha, Dad, you were our first pharaoh, forged Kemet's destiny. His deeds ripple through time.
The crowd wails. Temple of Amun. Night priests chant, their voices merging with the flicker of torches. The sacred ibis statue watches over Hor-aha's mummified form. Jer approaches the sarcophagus. He places a carved crook and flail on Hor-aha's chest.
Farewell, my king. May Mat cradle you.
Valley of the Kings, dawn. The tomb entrance yawns like a hungry serpent. Jer, flanked by Benarib and Kenthap, descends.
Our love, our warrior rests here.
His Ka will find solace.
They place offerings, bread, beer, and a miniature boat. Inti tomb chamber, eternal darkness. Jer gazes at Hor-aha's painted visage. The walls tell stories of battles, unity, and love.
You taught me strength, Father. Now I bear Kemet's burden. Kemet weeps, but we endure. Our Nile flows, our hearts ache.
He kisses the painted lips. Tomb entrance, sunrise. Jer, Benarib, and Kenthap emerge. The sun's rays touch their faces. The silent waters, palace, throne room. Jer, the untested pharaoh, sits on the throne. The room buzzes with whispers. The nobles, draped in linen, eye him warily. Kemet stands at a crossroads. The Nile's current shifts and with it the faith of its people. Thebes, marketplace, Day-Jer walks among the common folk. A fisherman, Amenemhet, approaches.
You're no Hor-aha. He tamed the river. You?
I'll honor his legacy.
King Horaha, often identified with Menes in the annals of ancient Egyptian history, is a significant figure credited with the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt around 3100 BCE. His death, while shrouded in the mists of antiquity, can be understood in the broader context of political, cultural, and religious developments in ancient Egypt, as well as the implications of his reign and subsequent demise for the nascent civilization. Accomplishments and legacy. Hor-aha Menes is often heralded as the first pharaoh of a unified Egypt, a monumental achievement that set the stage for the development of one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations. His accomplishments include 1. Unification of Egypt. Hor-aha is credited with consolidating the separate kingdoms of Upper and Lower Egypt, an act that was not merely political but also symbolic, representing the merging of distinct cultural identities into a singular Egyptian ethos. This unification is often depicted in the iconography of the double crown, a symbol of the pharaoh's dominion over both regions. 2. Establishment of the First Dynasty. His reign initiated the First Dynasty of Egypt, laying the groundwork for subsequent dynasties and establishing a lineage of rulers who would continue to expand and fortify the Egyptian state. This period saw the emergence of centralized governance and the establishment of a bureaucratic system. 3. Cultural and religious development. Hor-aha's reign marked significant advancements in art, architecture, and religion. The establishment of religious practices centered around the worship of gods such as Horus and Osiris began to take shape, which would influence Egyptian culture for millennia. 4. Economic and agricultural development. Under his rule, the foundations for an agrarian economy were solidified, particularly through the management of the Nile's flooding, which was crucial for agriculture. Innovations in irrigation and farming techniques facilitated the growth of surplus crops, which would sustain the population and bolster trade. 5. Military campaigns. Menes is also believed to have led military campaigns to secure Egypt's borders and establish dominance over neighboring territories, securing the Nile Valley from external threats and enhancing Egypt's influence in the region. The circumstances surrounding the death of King Hor-aha Menes are largely speculative, as historical records from this time are sparse and often intertwined with myth. It is suggested that he may have died in battle or due to an accident, possibly related to an event involving a hippopotamus, as per some ancient sources. The hippo was often associated with chaos and danger in Egyptian mythology, which could symbolize the threats to the stability he worked to establish. The implications of his death were profound for Kemet. Succession crisis. Following the death of a pivotal figure like Menes, questions of succession inevitably arose. His passing may have led to a power vacuum that could have destabilized the newly unified state. However, it is widely accepted that his son or a close relative succeeded him, which helped to maintain continuity in leadership. Cultural and political consolidation. Menes's death prompted a reflection on the nature of kingship in ancient Egypt. The notion of the pharaoh as a divine ruler became increasingly pronounced, with subsequent rulers emphasizing their connection to the gods to legitimize their reign. This theological underpinning was crucial for the continuation of stability in governance. Monumental legacy. Menes is often credited with founding Memphis, which became the capital of Egypt and a significant cultural and political center. His death likely reinforced the importance of monumental architecture and tomb construction, as subsequent pharaohs sought to emulate his legacy through grand pyramids and temples. Conclusion. The death of King Hor-aha Menes signified more than the end of a ruler. It marked a critical juncture in the historical trajectory of ancient Egypt. His accomplishments in unifying the nation, establishing a centralized government, and fostering cultural and economic growth laid the foundation for one of the most remarkable civilizations in human history. The reverberations of his reign and death would echo through the ages, shaping the identity of Kemet and influencing the governance and religious practices of future pharaohs. His legacy continues to be a focal point for understanding the complexities of early Egyptian society and the enduring mystique of its civilization. Rest in peace, King. This story is to be continued. If you like what you see, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification button to be notified when the next episode is dropped. Also share this video with your friends. Why? Because this ish is dope. Tune in for the next episode of Gap Stories.